Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is the PC muscle race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
Yo, what's poppin'?
Hi, LeRon.
Hey, Corey.
How's it going?
It's going.
Yeah.
Could be better. Could be great.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I feel very, I don't know. Something about this year so far has just been like, first of all, where did January and February go?
Don't even start with that, man.
Yeah. Second of all, it's like I don't know, man. It's been a busy year.
Well,
and
yeah, that's true. That is true. And you guys are getting ready for PAX.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's
Once again, the quartet is a trio because I will not be there this year.
Sad face.
Yeah.
You know who will be there? The Mad Pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klimov.
Can't get rid of me.
Nope. No.
Just can't. But yeah, the time is...
We tried.
Time's flying by to the point where I'm like, when am I getting my analog 3D? Because it says it ships Q1 2025. I'm like, there's not much time left of Q1, bitch. Give me my analog 3D.
You've got, as of this recording, 19 days? 20 days.
I don't like how I'm not getting any updates. Like, dude, I'm like, oh gosh, I need it. I need it.
Oh.
Anyway.
What's the first thing you're going to play on it? You don't need it that bad then.
No, there's so many. Honestly, I'm Mischief Makers. I really want to revisit that.
Oh man, you sound like Edward.
Well, you know,
man. Speaking of mischief, also here's PK Power Pat Klein.
Damn straight, I'm mischievous,
causing all the mischief.
To think if PAX didn't get pushed to March, we'd all be at PAX right now.
I know.
Whoa.
That'd be crazy. Or we'd be going to PAX right about now.
That is cray-cray.
Mm-hmm.
That's...
You know what? Unlike Corey, I'm actually excited that we're that these few months have gone by pretty fast, because I got a good-looking summer ahead of me, and I can't wait for it. So
I love it. I love that.
Mm-hmm. What's going on this summer? What are you doing?
Our boys getting in shape.
Oh, right.
I'm getting in shape, and I got like travel planned for like at least every month, starting in May.
Whoa,
so,
baller.
Yep. It's gonna be a fun, busy summer, is my hope. So. And it's going to be nonstop until September.
Jeez.
Nice.
It's quite the summer. Oh,
yep.
Man, I can't believe it's only Tuesday, dude. This week has felt like 3 weeks long already.
Mm-hmm.
When I logged in tonight, I felt like a crazy person because I just started like. You know, like when you are just like so tired, or like you feel a certain way and you just start laughing because you just don't know what to do, what else to do.
You're like having an out of body experience right now, my friend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
You've been enlightened and you have reached the fuck it stage. The stage where you're like, I don't give a fuck. Just bring it on.
I mean, yeah, sorta, but I don't know if I can allow myself to be that way because of just other things going on.
Embrace it. Let the chaos flow.
No, you know what? You know how I've been handling my troubles by just buying video games that I won't play.
You know what? That's healthy.
I bought 4 video games this week that are just going to sit on my shelf because I've either played them already and bought them digitally, or, you know,
What'd you buy?
Collecting. I'm collecting
Come on,
again.
do some show and tell. Do some show and tell. What'd you get?
They're all the way back there. So I got Braille. Nope, not Braille Default. The other one, Octopath Traveler, the first one.
Okay.
I got Mario Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
I got Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World for 3DS.
Excellent.
I actually bought it for my son because he's shown a lot of interest in like the Yoshi games in particular. So I am charging one of those doorstop 2DSs over in the corner, and because he can't break it. So, and then what else did I get? I got something else too. There's something else I forget, but yeah. And then Xenoblade comes out next week, and which I'm very excited for.
I was just about to ask, how excited are you?
I'm pretty excited, except that I need to go back to the
No,
old
you
ones.
do not need to go through 1 through 3 to play Chronicles.
Oh, I've played X before. X is the only one I've played extensively, like almost, but yeah, I know X doesn't connect to the other ones, but it might now.
Yeah, that is true.
7-minute story trailer ends with a big portal that is merging with another universe. I wonder what that means.
Xenoblade Chronicles 4 incoming.
Xenoblade Doomsday, that's what it's called now.
Well, technically that was 3, but
I know, but yeah, I'm pretty excited. Also, Pat, this one's for you. I've been I don't know. Fire Emblem has made me want to try other games that I haven't been likely to play in a long time. So I've been looking at the Trails series on eBay. I know that's like a big thing right now.
It is a big thing.
But also I know the first game is being remade and coming out soon.
Very true.
I also know the Switch games are like getting expensive.
Yes, that is also true.
So there's that.
Look at it this way, though. You'll be able to get the entire series on the Switch. Or be able to play an entire series on a Switch.
Well, Cold Steel 1 and 2 are not on Switch.
Oh, they're not, are they? No, wait.
They're not. That's like the big complaint online. I was looking at what order to play them in on Switch if you haven't started anywhere. And they're like, well, we would recommend Cold Steel 1, but it's not on Switch. So Azure or Tales from Zero and Azure are the ones to start with, apparently.
Yeah, those would be good ones. I mean, if you don't want to go all the way through that series, you could honestly just start with Daybreak.
But I do want to. You know what I'm missing, Pat? There's 17 games before that. I'm going to miss out.
That is true. You will. You'll see all these characters and be like, who the hell are you? And understand that like they were in like 5 games prior.
Oh, man. So also, like I've been dabbling in the Yeast series also, which is the same company. So
yep,
Origin was $6 on the eShop. So
Origin's a fun play. It's a very short game, but
yeah, that's like
1 and 3 characters to go up. Oh no, Origins is a prequel. It's 0.
Oh.
It explains the events that lead up to 1 and 2.
All right, then. Never mind.
It's still good.
Anyways, I've been spending more money than I should on games that I won't play, but it's fine because my shelves are filling up very nicely back there. So that's the goal.
Great legacy to leave. Leave the legacy for your children.
Yeah, legacy. My daughter just wants to play like Bluey and princess dress-up doll games on her tablet. I'm like, whatever. But my son loves video games. So that's like every time I'm home on the weekend, he's like, can we go play video games?
Aww.
I'll talk about that, what we've been playing, though.
Your wife must be horrified.
I mean, that's her problem.
Wow.
If I could fist bump you, I would.
Hey, I have the same attitude too. Dimitri absolutely hates video games, and he hates the fact that Nikolai plays video games. I'm like, too bad. So sad.
Too
It's
bad.
like maybe you should have raised your son more.
I'm falling back into the like that mode I was in like like late high school, early college, where all I want to do is play like JRPGs and ignore everything else, or like
I know that.
strategy RPGs or whatever. Man, Fire
Good
Emblem
feeling.
Engage, by the way.
Did you finally beat it?
Almost. So there's 24 chapters and I'm on chapter 21, but the last 4 chapters are like basically a beyond this point you can't go back or whatever type of thing. So it's kind of like bam, 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 bam.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm actually we'll talk about it later. I'll talk about it later. Anyways, speaking of things to play and support, you can support us, Boss Rush Network, Boss Rush Podcast, over on Patreon, patreon.com/ the Boss Rush Network, and you can support us for as little as $1 and get early ad-free access to Expansion Pass, exclusive access to the pre-show, a month early access to book club, and all kinds of other things. So you can go over there. You can become a Patreon producer for $5. A nice fancy Lincoln. Just slap it down. If you can't support us financially, no big deal. You can head on over to youtube.com/Boss Rush Network, which we've grown pretty significantly since the beginning of the year, which is great. So thank you to all these new subscribers. If you're listening on audio podcast services, leave us a 5-star rating and a nice review. Really helps. And you can check out all of our content on bossrush.net, including our daily banters, listicles, features, reviews, and more. I'm not going to forget this time. Does anybody have any cool content to promote?
Hell yeah.
What do you have, Pat?
We have book club stuff, and we got a new book club coming very soon. Like, I can give you the next 3 book clubs that we're going to be
That's
doing.
awesome.
What?
That's right. Coming up this month, we will have the Mouthwashing Book Club with Kim Chica.
Ooh.
Nice.
I use mouthwash
Right.
after I brush my teeth.
Oh, this is going to be a mouthwashing you will never forget.
That's what she said.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. And then for April, we are going to be doing Tales of Graces, the new remaster that came out. And just fresh off of the polls as of yesterday, our May book club is going to be Split Fiction.
Ooh.
Very nice.
Man.
So,
I wish that game wasn't co-op only, because I kind of want to play it because it's a cool concept, but sorry.
Steph, you're co-oping this with me, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
okay. I'm gonna get the game then. I will buy it and I will get you the code.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Sweet. But yeah, that's all the upcoming book club stuff. We're excited for everything that we got going on.
Yeah, those are a great selection of games.
Nice. LeRon, you got anything cool coming up?
Mm-mm.
No, just
Not
your
at all.
face, just some smiles on your face.
Just my face, yeah.
Okay.
Stephanie, you got anything coming up?
Not at this time. Sorry, guys, but the Spotlight pipeline will fill up eventually. Right now, I'm just a little bit of a lull. I'm also kind of using the little bit of extra time I have left to kind of back up Lasby on the writing side, because we're about to gear up for a very big news cycle soon. So,
oh yeah, what's happening? Something happening?
Something to do with maybe Nintendo and the number 2, and well, not that number 2, but a different number 2. Sorry,
Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah. One would say that you're gearing to switch up.
Yeah, might switch up again.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're probably gonna do a direct recap show that Wednesday night. So that'll be fun.
Oh,
That'll be so much fun. And Ed will have to work, so anybody who wants to jump on.
me.
Good times, huh? Let's see, what else is there? I was gonna say something, but now I kind of forget. So, oh yeah, that weekend. Apparently, we're going out of town that weekend. So Nintendo Power. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Ed'll figure it out. I believe in him.
Mm-hmm.
What? Wait, what night is that recording?
I don't know. What the?
Keep us posted.
What?
Huh?
What,
Yeah.
What is
'Cause
what?
I was about to say if depending on what's going on, like if I have enough heads up, like I can probably be on this show of Ed.
I don't know. TBD. We'll keep you
TBD.
posted. It's like a month away. So.
Oh, question, because you guys are doing all these snazzy announcements. Do you have the recording schedule worked out for PAX? You don't have to say what it is on the episode right now.
Ha! No, I do not. Dude, I keep forgetting that PAX is happening. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am so far behind on my mental.
I'm excited PAX is happening because I actually get a week or two off.
Do you?
I feel like it.
I thought you were hosting with a whole new crew without us.
Oh, I mean, I could do
that's
that.
What you're doing. I thought we got the week off.
Mm-hmm.
Go play games, hang out and play games while you.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yep.
Well, for the week of PAX, like there will be no new Boss Rush podcast episodes or pre-shows.
Whoa, sure there will, just not from you. Apparently, I'm LeRon. I gotta go work out. Gotta pump my muscles up for the week after.
Actually, I got to drink more water so I don't get kidney stones.
Yeah, I should probably do that.
One of my best friends woke up this morning and had to go to the ER because kidney stones.
Yeah, those talk about a pain. Big.
Yeah. Apparently, it's a pain that will stop a clock.
I don't think I have anything coming up to announce yet. I have emails out.
Who's the lame one now?
I have emails out. Me. I'm the lamest. There's a few emails out. I'm trying to schedule stuff, but I just it's hard to muster up energy at the moment. I'm trying. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying.
You're doing a fantastic job.
Who is?
Everybody.
Somebody behind me?
Yeah, I definitely think Corey's in the... You know how like some children, when they're tired, but then once they get too tired, they get this random wind of energy, even though they're exhausted? You're in that phase right now. You're in the overly exhausted, hyperactive phase.
Yeah.
Second, third, or fourth wind.
Look, I last night I laid down on purpose at like 11. I woke up last night 17 times. Like literally every 25 to 30 minutes I woke up.
I'm having that problem myself.
And I'm like, how do you even wake up that much? Like, why even go to sleep at that point?
It's like your body like wakes you up because you fell asleep. It's like, whoa, we cannot be asleep yet.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? Wake up. You have stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, not right now.
That is the wonders of anxiety.
Speaking of anxiety, LeRon, I'm kicking it to you. What's our first topic?
Okay, our first topic. All right. So there's a bit of a twist. There's a bit of a twist on this, but I'm not going to tell it till the end of the topic. All right. So we've had conversations about this, and it was good that someone over at the BossRush.net writing team like actually is feeling the same thing that we're feeling because let's face it, early game announcements cause some serious industry concerns. And so hey, welcome back to the podcast today. Hi, it's your boy LeRon, the PC Muscle Race here, just coming at you because we are diving into a topic that's been buzzing in the gaming world. And that's the growing trend of announcements being made way too early in the development process of our quote unquote favorite games. It's something we've all noticed, by the way. Huge flashy reveals for games that are still years away from release. I'm looking at you, Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Uh-huh.
Actually, that was like one of gaming's worst kept secrets of 2022 and 2023. But anyway, is this trend doing more harm than good? The reason why I ask that is because it can be argued that it's actually a negative shift for the industry. And today, me and my wonderful co-panelists here are going to break down why that might be the case. So, from fan disappointment to developer burnout, there's a lot to unpack here. So, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, misters, grab your controllers, settle in, and let's get into talking about this topic. So, one of the talking points that I have here is that, something about premature announcements just backfiring, because we all know how exciting it is when a game gets announced. The article on the on bossers.net points out that when games are revealed way too early, it can actually lead to this big overall disappointment. We all know why, because like these games are announced and there's not even a date for release sometimes. So like leaves a big question. Like, remember the KOTOR remake trailer? Yeah, there was no date for it. And so number one, we were excited, but we were also disappointed because we don't know when it was coming. And that was like a year one PS5, like announcement, and then of course, like with all the stuff that's been going on, like now we don't know if we'll ever get the game.
I heard it was canceled completely.
No, what's happened is it got removed from the originally developing team and got pushed to another team that's supposed to be a lot better at doing games like this than that team was. Because I think basically like because Sony execs did a walkthrough. This is back in the Jim Ryan days, by the way. Sony execs did a walkthrough. They saw like like tech demos of the game and stuff like that, and like the execs immediately got cold feet. And that caused like not just a restructure, but a reassigning of like who's developing the game and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's been specifically canceled yet because I haven't heard any news about being canceled. But all I know is like there's dead news on it. Yeah,
I'm gonna check this.
Do that because you are wonderful at fact checking. Do that. but like in situations like that though, imagine waiting years for a game that you're hyped about, and let's not get it twisted. KOTOR anything gets a lot of gamers excited. KOTOR anything, and that's just one example I'm using. But it's also easy to lose interest or feel let down if the release keeps getting pushed back, or you never get any news on it. Like Stephanie, you remember how dejected I was last year? Last year in December, when I knew Metal Gear Solid Delta was coming, and we walked into 2025 before they even said anything.
Yep, yeah. I was heavily disappointed by that. I was like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, and what's sad about the whole thing, particularly Metal Gear Solid 3 for me, like, is that's a game I didn't appreciate when it first came out on PS2. Like, I didn't appreciate it, but when the Metal Gear Solid HD collection came out, I didn't play it on the PS2. Wait, that was a PS3 title. Yeah, I didn't play it on PS3. I played it on the PS Vita. And I was like, man, what was I thinking all those years ago that I absolutely did not like this game back when I first played it. And I feel like it is one of the greatest Metal Gear Solid games ever, am I being like weird for saying like, premature announcements backfire, or is there actually some weight to this?
I agree with it. I honestly don't know if, other than the possibility of generating hype, I don't see what the benefit is of announcing it as early as it is. What we don't know isn't going to hurt us.
Well, I think the benefit isn't for us; it's for the shareholders.
Yeah.
They have to, You see something like Split Fiction, who announces a game in December and is out in March, right? But then you have to, like, if you're EA or Take-Two or one of these other massive publishers, you have to, look at Sony and Wolverine, for example, right? Like announcing Wolverine as an exclusive for PlayStation 5 I guarantee you was to appease Disney, right?
Mm.
You know, I mean, because Sony, out of all the companies, Sony's the one that's pretty good about not announcing stuff before it's ready, right? Now, I mean, obviously there was God of War during the pandemic and it got delayed because I don't think anybody could really predict development, you know, during and, you know, immediately after the pandemic. But like,
They didn't get pushed back too far though. Like, you know, there's some that
a
get pushed
year,
back
I think.
years and years, but like,
Yeah.
I'd say a year pushback, that's fine in my opinion, but
Yeah. But I mean, that's my opinion though, is like to appease shareholders. And that's why Nintendo's stock is low all the time, is because like as even as a publicly traded company, they like don't care to an extent, right? And so they announce games when, you know, close to being ready, unless it's, you know, Zelda, which they announce like 2, 3, 4 years ahead.
No,
You know.
I fully agree with what you say, Corey, because let's look at Elder Scrolls 6.
Mm-hmm.
I feel this game was announced strictly because Bethesda just came off of Fallout 76 and it was a buggy, hellish mess that no one was getting into. And they needed some like clout to like entice people. Hey, don't abandon us. We got Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. And granted, that was about 10 years ago when they announced that.
Yeah. Plus Bethesda was like, this was before Microsoft purchased them, right? And they were like, some of their games had not done as well as they wanted to, and so they were kind of hemorrhaging money, and they were looking for a buyer. And that announcing an Elder Scrolls game is like very enticing for someone to come purchase you for a higher price than maybe you intended, right? Like Microsoft flopping down $7 billion to buy them. So, you know, and that's, I mean, because Bethesda not publicly traded, right? That's a different thing. You know, they were they were financially in trouble, and they were looking to be bought. That's why they announced games early. So, you know, and it's just the state of the business, you know. And game development is hard. There's a lot of people to please that aren't necessarily the fans, and
Well, if anything, that just further supports the fact that I'm not sure if that's really that great in general, because the only person that benefits or people are shareholders. You know, the employees, like you said, might get burnout. You know, things just kind of get. Yeah, we can keep going on and on about that, but it makes sense. What you explained definitely makes business sense, but it just makes me want to vomit a little bit in my mouth.
yeah.
One thing I want to say real quickly. Actually, no. I'll save it. I'll save it for a little bit later in the conversation, because like I've one thing I noticed is that when games are announced too early, it doesn't just affect the players. It also puts a ton of pressure on the developers too. Like, I mean, like what I love in this more and more transparent age of gaming and development cycles and stuff like that is our developers and you know, studios are actually like being transparent. Like, they're taking to social media and tell us about things behind the scenes. You know, indie developers are basically like having like blogs every other day about like what's going on, you know, in their build process and stuff like that. It's even gotten to the point where even Kickstarters, like, you know, are now having to be more transparent about this stuff, you know, because of all these early announcements and stuff, like the games, the studios, the publishers and stuff, they're under the spotlight, and fans are expecting a polished game as soon as possible. So of course, like, you know, like, here we go. This can lead to crunch, burnout, and sometimes even a rushed product that doesn't live up to the hype.
Yeah. And I think we're seeing now more and more, like, especially like if you're people who pay attention to Twitter and stuff, like, if a game is not a 10 or exactly what you want it to be, it sucks, right? Like, it doesn't matter, right? It just doesn't matter.
That's we talked about that last week.
Yeah. So, man, side tangent. I've been like really staying off of social media recently. It's done.
Or you mean on the gaming side, or just period?
just period.
Uh-huh.
Except for like stuff I have to do for work, and even then it's all through Buffer. And so like everything I've been putting out has been, scheduled and put out through Buffer, which, the social media managing app. And it's just been like once in a while I'll open it and I'll see I have some notifications and I click on it, and then you click home on Twitter and it's like something terrible is happening as soon as you hit home. And I'm like, meh, this is why I don't get on here.
I hear you. I'm taking a break from the majority of my socials. The only thing I'm not is is unfortunately X and Blue Sky, because I use that for Boss Rush. But all I do is I go in, look for any gaming news, and then I get out. That's
Mhm.
kind of. It's been a
Yeah.
nice little detox.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've actually been thinking about going through and like clearing out some people that, I don't want to follow. Not that like I don't want to follow them, but like people are always like reposting or retweeting or commenting on something or showing stuff that people just, other accounts follow that you follow now. Apparently, like you just automatically see that stuff, and it's just like I don't want to see this stuff. So but anyways, that was my tangent. Back to the regularly scheduled topic.
Now we get to swing back to hype, because like hype fatigue is real. And I feel like now developers are doing this on purpose. So like with the constant cycle of early announcements and endless marketing, all this stuff can actually make gamers numb to the excitement, or it even backfires. Like we're so hyped to the point where we're exhausted about the game, exhausted for the game before it even comes out. Something I blame Microsoft for, not for these most recent showcases, but a past couple of showcases where it felt like they were using us to generate the hype. And that goes back to something Corey was saying about it's about the shareholders at this point. The shareholder. I believe a lot of hype now is manipulated by shareholders, because they want people to run to like your GameStops, your Amazons and stuff, and pre-order the games, and pre-order the games at full price, which means like the game is basically sold, and stuff like that. When every game gets announced like years in advance, it's hard to stay hyped. It really it is, especially when like you announce a game and then you announce a game at the Game Awards, right? And then we don't hear about it again until maybe not the next Game Awards, but until like a summer show, like after another Game Awards has already passed. It's so like that. So by the time the game actually comes out, people are already over it, or people have forgotten it, which is even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Or even better, they get the clown meme. With a little bug that's sitting on a bench every single time a direct of some company, doesn't matter which company anymore. It could be Devolver Digital, and it's still going to have a little bug with a clown hair on it sitting on a bench. Because there's that game that just will never be ever announced ever again.
This is a unique one. Oh, sorry. What about Silk Song? 'Cause I know it's technically coming from a team
God.
That's what I was referring to.
Okay, I was like,
bug on with the clown makeup. Yeah. I was talking about Silk Song and how we were told at a Microsoft conference it would be coming out within 12 months of that conference. Everything shown will be out within the year. And that was
funny about that is like only
4 years ago.
Like 2 of the things came out on time.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about
games.
You know what?
It's so embarrassing.
We need the Price is Right. The Price is Right. You lost the boom 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 boom.
I mean, at this point,
I think every gamer has experienced that, once, at least in the last 2 years at this point now. Oh boy. This is probably a bad example, but remember how I was doing backflips when they announced Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that game was delayed for another reason, though, right?
That game was delayed it was delayed. It was delayed once, and then the actual date it was supposed to be launched, somebody in Russia decided they were going to act a fucking fool, and that caused the game to be indefinitely delayed. And you know what? Yeah, when the game finally came out, like I found out my hype was kind of like gone for it. I played the first half of the first Advance Wars, but I couldn't even like muster it up to continue. So I feel like it missed the train. Yeah, like Nintendo got their Nintendo and Nintendo and Way Forward got their money off of me for sure. But I feel like I didn't get paid off.
Sorry, LeRon.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
No, I love
Russia ruined your love of Advance Wars.
I love Way Forward the studio though. So yeah, you guys definitely need to come back sometime soon.
Yeah, I got an email from Chris the other day. I should probably email him back.
Wait. They're a team. Wait, they're doing the Ninja Gaiden, right? No, that's Daimu.
That's yeah.
Daimu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, no, Way Forward's doing something big though for like a retro title though. I just can't remember. I gotta look him up.
Let's look him up.
I have zero recall at the moment, but that does ring a bell.
Well, while you're looking them up, let me. Oh wait, they just released Yars Rising. Never mind.
Yeah, they're doing something else too, though. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. While you're looking at, Yep. Final talking point here. You know what? I think it's honestly like we need to just all take lessons from past mistakes, whether we're the gamers or whether we're the developers, whether it's the developers and stuff like that. Because when you look at games like Cyberpunk 2077, as a matter of fact, from Cyberpunk 2077 all the way out to like whenever Elder Scrolls 6 is coming. If we look at those as examples of what can go wrong with early announcements, like if we want to talk about if we want to make like something a game's like announcement all the way up to his launch of debacle, invite Ed on the show and just have him just unleash on Cyberpunk 2077
or Grand Theft Auto
or Grand Theft Auto 5 came out on time.
Well,
he had other problems with it.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
I don't know. Like, go ahead, Pat. Go ahead.
I mean, it's sad because games like Cyberpunk 2077 now it's one of the most perfect open world games out there.
Yes.
At this time, like they revamped it. And you know what? It was the same with The Witcher 3 as well. Mm-hmm. That like the game came out a buggy mess. I still remember the beggar in a cart, but he was flying in the air, which made it weird.
And they like redid the entire combat system in that game too.
The combat, the mapping, like literally everything got changed. It's not the same game anymore. Final Fantasy XIV was another example of a game that came out very rushed. Like, I think that one came out almost a year or two right after Final Fantasy 13. And, like, they literally had to pull it off, remake the game, and then they sold it as a Realm Reborn because, well, at least the marketing worked on that case because it needed to be reborn.
It's kind of neat that they put that into the lore of the game, though.
Yeah, that is how the world got rebooted.
Yeah, kind of owning it to an extent. It's cool.
Yeah.
I always wanted to try that game, but I don't know if I have the patience to sit there and play through 10 years.
If you like Fetch
content.
Quest, it's your game. That game is all about its Fetch Quest.
I'll just play Assassin's Creed for that.
There you go.
So, what, LeRon? You look.
Oh no! I was just going through the Clock Tower Rewind. Is that out yet? Because I'm on Way Forward's site right now.
Yes, I have a copy from Limited Run for that.
Okay.
Stephanie's on it.
I have a limited run problem. I have a physical collector's problem. Dude, Serenity Forge launched 2 pre-order campaigns. One is a physical for Centum, and more excitingly, a physical copy for Sorry We're Closed.
I saw that.
It looks like their next big thing is Sigma Star Saga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're remastering it for consoles and PC. Looks like.
The Way For It is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Sigma Star Saga.
That seems kind of up their alley.
Yeah, it does, definitely. Yeah. Any final thoughts here?
I just don't think this problem's ever going to be solved, really.
Yeah,
until
I don't think so.
until the mighty fall and you see the new like these indie developers rise up and like a new AA studios and independent studios, right? Like bigger kind of independent AAA studios rise up and kind of change,
Right. And just temper thy expectations, which I have for sure.
Yeah. And, vote with your wallet. And, if these things are not what you expect and they're announced too early and you're frustrated, don't buy it on time.
Yeah, I you know what? I'm gonna tell you guys something, listeners and viewers, I'm gonna tell y'all something that's gonna sound controversial, but it's probably it's gonna save you a lot of pain, disappointment. You don't have to pre-order a game the moment it's announced. Honestly, you don't even have to pre-order a game at all.
Ever.
The game will be there when it releases.
And actually, you'll get a better version of the game if you wait like 3 months because it'll be fully patched and DLC will be out. And
exactly. Do not. Yeah. Just stay away from that hype.
Yeah.
Unless there's like really cool pre-order perks, though.
Oh, see, you're caving. You're caving, Stephanie.
I used to have so much discipline. Gone are those days.
All right. So yeah. So a solid case exists for holding off on announcements till games are closer to release. It's all about keeping the excitement alive without overpromising or burning out the developers or even the players. I mean, everybody is guilty of it, from Sony to Capcom to Nintendo to Microsoft. Everybody is guilty of it and stuff like that. But I guess the onus is on us, the gamers, to actually like temper some of our expectations or quell some of our hype, because it doesn't take a lot for you to wind up being for you to get hyped for something and you wind up getting the game that you did not want. So really quickly, if you want to check this out, head over to bossrush.net. Check out the article, because this is an article by Josh Martinez. Actually, it's a Boss Rush banner, But I feel like this banner was so good it could have been its own op-ed. I should talk to Josh and tell him, like, hey, dude, like that game announcements article you did, that banter you did, like that should have been a fully fleshed out feature article.
Should have. Disappointed in you, Josh. You didn't finish it.
Stop it, Corey.
I'm kidding.
Stop it. You're mean.
I am. I know. Not the worst thing anybody's called me today. So.
All right. Well, kicking it back to you, Corey.
Oh boy, I wasn't prepared.
Because you're gonna kick the final the segment off to Stephanie, and then you're gonna moderate us.
Boy.
Oh
boy.
Like, Stephanie, I want to fight.
Wait,
no.
Wait, the final segment? Are we skipping one?
No, we're gonna do this.
All right.
Wait, we have two
banners. Okay, you know what? Okay, we can coin toss.
You said kick the final one off to Stephanie, and I got confused if we were going to
pick the middle one. Stephanie's going to cue that one up. Right, Stephanie?
Which one are we doing? The Zelda or the Monster Hunter?
What?
Which one are we doing? Zelda or Monster Hunter?
The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past remains a masterpiece. Is one of the banters of the week from our own editor-in-chief, David Lasby.
Look at that, Dave. You made it to the show. Look at that.
So here's the thing, and I'm going to let you guys discuss this game because I've never played A Link to the Past.
Yes, me neither.
So,
oh no,
I don't have an opinion really.
Is it just you and me, Pat?
It's just you and me.
Except that my only opinion is that I feel like I gravitate way more to the 3D games than the 2D games, because You know,
You know what? I regret ringing your buzzer now.
that's fine.
Hey, to be fair, I think it just was a timing thing where I missed playing that game. However, I played A Link Between Worlds, and it's a pretty good sister version of it. And
It,
I
it's basically it's Link to the Past 2.0.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I freaking loved it. So I'm going to extrapolate it and would say that I would have loved it. And maybe I'll go back eventually when I try to check off all my Zelda games. And Link to the Past soundtrack recently got added to Nintendo Music, and I love all the music there. It's like half of my
That soundtrack amazing.
half of it's on under my favorites playlist. So even though I technically didn't play it, I did play like Pat says, the 2.0 version of it. And I think Link to the Past does have all the perfect foundation of what I feel like a lot of people think of in Zelda, at least up until the Breath of the Wild phase, right? Because they did kind of change where the franchise is going. But I can agree with that 100%.
I'm not going to deny Link to the Past definitely set a standard, especially for Zelda games. It's a lot of the big systems in Zelda all came from A Link to the Past, ranging from the items in the dungeons, the dungeons almost being themed themselves, even though, like, for the most part, they all kind of were caves or temples, but then you did get some unique ones, like water and like Turtle Rock, for example, was a unique one. Um, it introduced the heart piece system, so it made
Yes.
exploring the world a hell of a lot more fun because you weren't just looking for random bushes or shops to get your upgrades. Like now that you explored literally all the parts of the world to just try and it made it more interactive, I guess, in that regard. Music, of course, like the game soundtrack was unbelievable, and it I think cemented forward the have Zelda games having their beautiful soundtracks. And then it also like kind of was the one that really pushed the whole Ganondorf lore about being the Gerudo thief, or he wasn't a Gerudo, he was just a thief that found the treasure and became Ganon, the Demon King or whatever he is. Like it set a lot of standards, but will I say it's the best Zelda now? No. Like Zelda Link to the Past or Link Between Two Worlds is basically Link to the Past 2.0. It's almost retelling the same story, but they've made vast improvements on it. So I would say that A Link Between Worlds is more superior than A Link to the Past. But
Okay,
A
I'll
Link to
give
the
you
Past
that
has
because
the heritage.
I'll give you that because I was getting ready to argue with you.
Hmm.
A Link to the Past will always be my favorite Legend of Zelda game. Always.
Hmm.
Yeah, like it's wild because I'm you guys know me, like I love a good video game soundtrack, and there was something basic. It was like a shock to your system. Like if you go from the Legend of Zelda, like on the NES, to Link to the Past on the Super NES. Like you hear those two soundtracks, and it's like, okay, like there are some things that are the same, but Link to the Past was like, man, like it's like, man, we're gonna get the symphony out here and like do this on
Hmm.
on a 16-bit system, and and there was something about like the Super NES's like sound chip. That made a lot of these songs epic because, like, I mean, it almost sounded like there was like orchestral, like
Hmm.
organization going on. Like, think about ActRaiser, for example. Like that music was epic. The fourth Castlevania game, which was on Super NES and stuff like that, just sounded so epic and gothic and stuff like that. But man, the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, I feel like was the blueprint for all these good like retro like 16-bit contract soundtracks and stuff like that. um I love the overworld map design. I
Hmm.
loved it. I loved it. Like, it actually looked like you were looking at an actual map. Of course, like a polygonal like bitmap, but it looked like you were actually looking at a map, and everything made sense on that. And it even had like stuff, and even like, and sometimes depending on what's going on, like the map would actually like give you clues itself to like what you should be doing or what you need to go investigate and stuff like that. Combat was great. Like being able to just pick up anything, just start chucking it and throwing it. And of course, like Link was a little chaotic, running into people's houses and smashing their pots, but like basically just like that whole system, because like it actually gave like the power bracelets something to do besides just pushing boulders and stuff like that. Like the overworld and basically the light and the dark world. I was saying overworld and underworld. That was a Legend of Zelda thing. But the light and the dark world and stuff like that, and radically reconfiguring the map and stuff like that, and having to need something as simple as a mirror to keep your true shape in the dark world and stuff like that. It was balanced. It was fun. Like boss fights were frustrating to just enough to make you like sit down and really like either learn the patterns, because like there was no real definitive patterns in the I think the only pattern that you had in like the first Legend of Zelda game was fighting Ganon in the final dungeon.
I don't know. That was just more randomly like slashing your sword and hoping you hit something.
yeah, but I mean, like having, being able to do like the charge, the sword swing thing to bounce back like Aghanim's freaking like magic bolts and stuff like that. Like it was brilliant to say, to say the least.
And also just the epicness of the boss fights, how some of those were like really massive, like the Hellmaster in the Dark Dungeon, or the Dark Forest Dungeon. It's just like, those were some pretty cool looking bosses versus the little pixelated dragons that you had from the original Legend of Zelda. Like, I don't know, it just felt more multi-leveled too.
Yeah. I feel like there's nothing to talk about. Like, Pat, I think you and I did
it. Yep. So,
do you think they'll ever make another like sprite-based 2D Zelda?
Oh yeah.
I think that's what Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom have become.
Yeah, I don't think there will be sprite-based anymore. As much as I'd want to, I just
unless we let third-party developers like the Cadence of Hyrule people do it.
Mm-hmm.
What if?
True.
What if Switch 2 would, and obviously they're not going to, but what if they launched with either a top-down pixel Zelda or Super Mario Brothers 4 as like a. We've talked about
we're talking more.
I thought Mario 4 is Mario World.
No, but like a proper like sequel to Mario 3, like a
okay,
proper NES style.
Instead of new Super Mario Brothers, it's back to pixelated Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think that could work.
I think that would be really cool if they started making like, pixelized sequels to their like old games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
They'd be looked at as like, that's so revolutionary. Sorry.
I mean, we would also have to think they would have to keep their difficulty though too, because the thing when you talk about this makes me think of Mega Man 9 and 10, where the whole idea of it going back to its original pixel form was to bring back the authenticity of its difficulty.
And people loved it.
I loved it. Yeah. I love Mega Man 9 and 10 because there was something about 7 and 8 that just did not do it for. I mean, I never beat 7. I mean, I never beat 7. 8 was okay. 8 I saw what they were trying to do with 8, but honestly, like, we wanted a cartoon Mega Man game, and that's what 8 was.
Why must I fight you? We're not enemies. Shut up.
It's better than the Captain N voice for Mega Man.
Oh God.
Mega. Hey, Mega Man, Mega. It's Mega, awesome Mega.
Awesome, awful. Oh, I'll get to A Link to the Past at some point. It's on
All
my
right.
list.
I guess the final word here is like Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past stands as a testament to timeless game design, with its innovative mechanics, dual world structure, and an unforgettable visual style. Its influence on the Zelda franchise and broader gaming industry is undeniable, setting a standard. Setting a standard that continues to inspire developers today. Whether you're revisiting it or experiencing it for the first time, A Link to the Past remains a masterpiece that captures the magic of what makes video games so enduring and beloved. Come back next week when we talk about Metroid and its legacy. Nah, I'm kidding.
You know
that means I would have to write the boss rush banner for that one.
You know what's
Yes.
you know what's cool about Link to the Past though is like when you turn the game on and you see the rain for the first time.
Oh yeah,
How mind blowing that was, and just the way the grass changed colors to make it look like the clouds are floating overhead.
yeah.
It's a cool effect, especially for the 90s. I was stuck playing.
I just like the use of color in that game. It was such a colorful game.
Mm-hmm. So,
and that
all right,
soundtrack.
let's get to the topic LeRon has been waiting for. All right, so the second banter this week is by Stephanie Klimov. Is that it?
I wonder who that is.
I know.
Sounds like a complete weirdo.
I think this K is silent. I think it's Limov. Limov?
Is it French? Limov.
Limov.
Monster Hunter Wilds needs to release on Switch 2. Now,
Apparently LeRon wants to fight.
I have heard many things about this game not running well on anything except for a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 5 Pro.
Really?
Yeah.
This
like even on my super rig of a system, like I struggle to get 60 frames, but I also know why I struggle to get 60 frames. It's called this little thing called Denuvo, and the fact that Denuvo does not play nice with AMD CPUs.
I thought your PC muscles were getting weak.
No, trust me, my graphics card can handle it fine. Like I have enough RAM for it. I can do all the tricks and stuff like that. By the way, FrameGen is not your friend.
Oh boy.
Now
So-
we can honestly tell like this game was built was built on the consoles, and then a port was happening. But I'm not going to complain. Honestly, the reason why I'm not going to complain is because it did a simultaneous launch on consoles and PC. We've been begging for that since Rise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Worlds didn't do that, did it?
World, no, there was a 9-month gap between the console release of World and the PC release. For Rise, there was a 5-month gap.
Yeah.
Was it worth it though? Because I'm hearing it's a buggy mess on the PC.
We talking about Wilds?
Yeah.
It is a buggy mess. It's like I said, there's bad optimization in there. I'm gonna say that. Like I'm not gonna be nice to developers Monster Hunter. Like I'm playing it, like it's not bothering me. Like, as a matter of fact, I don't have a situation that I've been playing this game that makes it unplayable for me. Now that being said, like I said, I have a pretty decent like gaming rig and stuff like that. And so and also like I've learned to embrace like less than 60 frames per second. I don't find it ideal, but I feel like in this day and age of our hardware and stuff like that, locking a game to 40 frames per second, especially on the PC side, is like the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Go with. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Pat.
I was curious. My idea is going to move the topic forward.
That's fine.
Is that okay? Okay. I mean, I will definitely say, like, if they can get it to finally work well, I would say it definitely does belong on the Switch.
Mhm.
Like there was something about the portable Monster Hunters that was just cool to be able to like be next to someone else with the Monster Hunter game in the 3DS and being able to like do Monster Hunter 4 and 3, like each
Yep.
with your own system, like next to
God,
each
back in the
other.
PSP days, man, it was amazing.
Yeah. Like it's definitely Switch worthy, and plus we've seen Rise do it. Like if Rise can
Yep.
do it, there's no reason why Wilds cannot get to that point too. Now the problem is though, Rise was made with the Switch in mind, where Wilds, like we never got Worlds to ever be on a Nintendo Switch. So it does Capcom even want to put it out there for the Switch?
I wonder.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, go ahead, Stephanie.
I was going to say in the article, I don't have it put up, but there was an interview where they talked to, the name escapes me, Midna, and they kind of gave that. Why don't I just pull it up because I feel like I'm doing a horrible job. And why isn't the link working to my article? Someone stall.
Well, what I was going to say is I think they need to figure out how to get it optimized for PC first, right? Because I think the first thing they want to do is get it to run on the Steam Deck, right? Because that's
Steam Deck and ROG Ally.
Yeah, if you're gonna have it, run on PC, you gotta. At this point, games need to start. I know it's like the Xbox Series S problem, but like you kind of need to start focusing on the lower end specs at this point.
Yeah. Especially for a game like Monster Hunter, because like Monster Hunter started selling big time once it had PC availability.
Yeah, and so
that makes sense.
And so, like, if it's going to be verified for Steam Deck, then I think you can look at the Switch 2 and be like, okay, the hardware's probably based on rumors and speculation is a little bit more powerful than the Steam Deck. It's got that NVIDIA AI stuff in it, and
okay, I'm glad you bring that up because like I have a RTX 4080 Super graphics card, so it's got 16 gigs of VRAM. It's 30% faster than the RTX 3090. Which was the flagship, for the generation before that, right? I am running the newest version of DLSS on there. And the fact that my machine still can't hit stable 60, that means that whatever the Switch 2 has going on, because we know it has a newfangled NVIDIA Tegra chip and all that stuff, which is supposed to be coming with DLSS, well, a version of DLSS on there and stuff like that. I have a little bit of pause because like if you had told me a Monster Hunter title was going to like rock everybody's world like Crisis and The Witcher and Cyberpunk was, I'd be like, you are crazy, but here we are.
Yeah, I think especially like a lot of the stuff kind of floating out there about the Switch 2 and the dock specifically having power in it this time, and I think having a game like Monster Hunter Wilds is possible. It's not going to run at 60 ever on the Switch 2. You can forget that. And you're going to be expecting lower resolutions and lower textures and that kind of thing. But I think Capcom has been really good at scaling things to an extent, right? Maybe not as well as some other companies, but my thing is I think that they got to get the PC thing figured out before they get it onto Switch, because I think obviously the PC audience is going to be much bigger, and have much more potential, at least in the first 12 to 18 months of the Switch 2's life cycle. So, sorry. I was just going to say one more thing. I think Nintendo can, like, once they get it optimized, I think how when ports come to Switch, Nintendo likes to make a big event out of it, even if they're like, remember when The Witcher came out and that game was like 5 or 6 years old at that point, and Nintendo made a huge deal out of it on a Nintendo Direct, right? And it's like Nintendo can do that with Monster Hunter again, right? And Capcom will get that second marketing beat. They can put it on sale on other consoles. Maybe it comes out around the time an expansion comes out or a major update drop, right? They can kind of line it up marketing wise, and both companies will benefit. But they gotta figure out the PC thing first, because that's where the audience seems to be the most unhappy.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
kind of a big point of the article, because I'm not saying it should come to Switch 1, and it doesn't need to come to the Switch 2 on day one. And Nintendo has had a history of porting things later, and like Corey said, making a big deal out of it. And on the caveat that Wilds can be optimized and improved upon on the PC, maybe X amount of months or a year down the line, it could be ported to the Switch. I just think it's great for the franchise because, it's already big and popular anyway, given the 8 million sales. So I don't think I need to champion Wilds because it's doing it on its own. But because of how successful Rise was, I just feel like it's just another opportunity. I'm just talking about people like myself that never really was a big Monster Hunter person. And, Rise was relatively like a game that was very, what's the word? When it's hard to get into a certain game or a genre, but then they
Niche?
adjust it.
Like a niche title.
Not a niche title. It's just
Right,
it's a little more forgiving to newer folks.
It's more accessible.
Accessible.
Yeah.
Thank you. That A word, accessible. And I felt that, not that they need it, but they have a whole new segment of the market that's, because there's some people out there that can't really afford a fancy PC or that $700 or however much it costs these days, PS5 Pro and whatever. We might just have a simple Switch, and I think it's a great game, great platform, and releasing later on the Switch 2 would actually further extend the life and sales of the game. So I think everybody wins. And I pulled up the quote. It's from Ryozo Tsujimoto, who had an interview with Game Reactor. Of course, and this is his quote, of course, in relation to Monster Hunter Wild platforms, we have nothing extra to announce beyond what is already known, but we're also a little bit in the same position as everyone else with the Switch 2. It's such a new announcement, and we need to take our time in the near future to know exactly the hardware and how we're going to best use it, and that's something that's going to be in the future for us. So that's a pretty diplomatic statement and doesn't confirm anything, but it at least does not shut out the opportunity for it to be in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, this I think a Monster Hunter will make it to Switch at some point. I think it would be nice for them not to have to make a separate game for that platform. I think just the way games cost and budgets in general would probably benefit them to just spend the money to port it down than to, build a brand new game for that platform. But at the same time, if the Switch comes out and it's underpowered again, right, then you have to do what you have to do. Not every company can be Panic Button or Saber Interactive and port games down, like Doom or The Witcher or Assassin's Creed or these other games, right? So, which are relatively decent ports considering the power of the hardware. Obviously not the optimal way to play those games, but they are playable. So I don't know. But I do think Monster Hunter I do think Monster Hunter needs to be on Switch in some capacity.
Now, this right here is something I actually agree on. I feel like because there's honestly one thing in Stephanie's banter that basically sums it up. Monster Hunter and Nintendo go way back. It started off as a PlayStation IP, even though technically it wasn't owned by Sony and stuff like that. It started off as a PlayStation game, but eventually because it just wasn't latching on, worldwide and stuff like that, they had to pare it back. That's why the second Monster Hunter entry, the second actual console entry, didn't actually make it like worldwide like the first one did. Like as a matter of fact, we wouldn't see elements of like the second Monster Hunter game until like they started releasing them on PSP, and then Nintendo came along with the 3DS, and that was the new trajectory for a while until it got to the Wii and the Wii U. And then okay, I was going to say something that was going to sound very elitist. But then when Monster Hunter World came out, and it became like a new evolution of the series and stuff like that. That's like if you combine the time it spent on the Nintendo all the way through to Monster Hunter World, that's when it got the worldwide appeal and stuff like that. And of course, they couldn't just like eschew Nintendo, and not have any more new releases, and that's how we got Rise.
Right. Well, I mean, that's why Generations came out on the Switch when Worlds came out, right? Instead of
Well, Generations was already a 3DS game, and they just upported it to the Switch.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, right?
Yeah,
that's my point.
Okay.
Is because it was a 3DS game and not a PlayStation 4 game.
Yeah.
No, I would say Nintendo kept Monster Hunter alive because the PSP did die. Nintendo at least brought in Generations 3 and 4 and brought it to a whole new audience that it made it actually still playable and accessible for people to get to. Yeah. And then we got Worlds, and that was basically the rebirth.
Yeah, so I mean, ultimately, Monster and Nintendo go way back. The Switch 2 can probably handle it. It'll keep Monster Hunter accessible to everyone, and it's a smart move in a competitive market because, like, let's just say like it is, the gaming industry is super competitive right now.
Plus, like, at the end of the day, like, as much as we like to say we're like, super enthusiasts into games and like power and new technology and all these things, like, we're in the minority. How many people even care if this game runs at like sub 30 on a Switch 2 or whatever? I don't know.
I feel like whoever is playing Monster Hunter games on the Switch aren't the ones that are focused on 60 frames per second. Because if someone cares about having a high FPS, they would be playing it on a more powerful machine. That's just my thought. As a simpleton that owns a Switch and can't count frames, so
be lucky you can't count frames because, like, to us frame counters, it is the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah,
I hate that. I can't remember when I first started spying frames. Like, I want to say it was probably somewhere in the PS2 era. God, like, I really wish I could unlearn that trait. I'd probably be in a much more blissful state of gaming.
Yeah.
Good old ignorance.
I do have to tell you, the first time I played Destiny in 60 frames a second, I never looked back.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to come back from that.
Yeah.
Again, peasant simpleton here, okay? I just don't have that brain power, guys.
Look, I'm from an era when if there were too many polygons in the game, like the game slowed down. I'm looking at you games like Commando and Mega Man.
Mega Man. but you freeze when you jump through the door, LeRon.
That's different. That's different. That was their slick way of having a loading screen.
Yeah. Well, I guess we should probably talk about what we've been playing real quick before we leave this call. Whatever. I don't know. Look, I've been in. I was in 6 meetings today. The word call is just, a part of the lifestyle. You know what I mean? Huh? Anyways, I'm going to start because mine's short. So I've now put 65 plus hours into Fire Emblem Engage. I am almost finished. it's really grown on me in a different way than Three Houses did. Like I still like Three Houses, right? A lot. And at the end of the day, I think maybe the characters are probably a little bit better, especially like the relationship building parts of it. Very, you know, I would almost say Persona-esque, probably in a way. I don't know. I'm not a big Persona person, but that's what I've heard, and that's what I'm saying. So, but I do really appreciate the way the story has unfolded, and like just the characters kind of personalities and their kind of relationships with each other over the course of the game, and watching the character growth of all the characters kind of change, and it's just been a really fun experience over the last couple weeks. So yeah, I guess I'll finish since everyone's looking down. So.
No, I've been listening to Pow Block as well, and I'm really enjoying the fact that your journey through the fact that you revisited Fire Emblem Engage and how much you really like it. So I'm like, that just reminds me that it's okay to go back to a game that maybe I didn't care for in the beginning, because sometimes it's all about timing.
Yeah, because I didn't really care for it at the beginning either, and I think it's because I had come off of Three Houses, right? And like you're still thinking about that game as you go into the next one, right? Thinking like, oh, this will build off of what Three Houses did, and it was the complete opposite. And you kind of compare it to like Fire Emblem Fates, and you look at Birthright versus Conquest, and that was the, Conquest was more the hardcore strategy RPG, and Birthright was the relationship building, easy mode to an extent, type of game. So,
in my defense, even though I do have my phone on the table, I am also constantly looking at Midna, who's sitting on my lap, and I keep just trying to tell if she farted or if she shit on my pants. So.
Oh no.
Maybe it was both.
Yeah, it was
Stinky
a shark.
Midna, see, Stinky Midna, hi.
But yeah, this is.
Corey, I'm excited you're getting into the JRPGs again. Like, I'm glad you didn't give it up. I know you were thinking about it after Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, well, that's a different story. I did reinstall it though, because I'm like,
oh no,
I'm going to try again.
No, just go to remake. Just remake, okay?
But at the end of the day, like I'm really, I don't know. I'm glad I went back to it, and I don't really want it to end, but I'm at the end, so like it's kind of inevitable at this point. I'm gonna fight the fell dragon, so
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Fire Emblem in this next Nintendo Direct.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. I'm because the Fire Emblem Fates definitive edition and rumor has been floating around for a while, which is like that 3DS special edition that had all 3 campaigns on the same cartridge.
That'd be nice.
Plus, there's some sort of Fates anniversary coming up as well. So, also, it would be cool if we would get that pirate Fire Emblem that was rumored like a year ago.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Pirate Emblem is what Ed and I lovingly called it for like a month.
Pirate Emblem?
Yeah. I think some art leaked from one of the mobile game events, because there was a pirate event at one point in the mobile game. So, but pirates would be
that
cool,
would
though.
That'd be very unique. Fire Emblem has not crossed any major bodies of water, so it would be interesting to know how they would do a pirate themed Fire Emblem.
There are ship battles in Engage, though. Sort of. You're fighting on a ship.
True.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
It would definitely open up for some new classes, though.
Yeah, like ship classes, like ship
like
battles.
vehicle. Yep.
Yeah. Also, my son and I beat the Power Rangers game this weekend.
Rita's
Okay.
Rewind.
Yeah,
How was it?
it's very
Drastic.
bad.
Did you say bad?
I never want to play it again.
All right.
Like, okay, so the side-scrolling parts are okay. Like the beat 'em up stuff is fine, right? They did in a recent update add like an RPG-ish type of mode where you kind of upgrade, kind of like Shredder's Revenge did, where like you can upgrade your Power Rangers and like strength, speed, and defense up to like 5 points or whatever in each category, which is neat. But like when you get to like the auto running stuff, like there's like an auto running Zord part where you're just kind of auto running and shooting and hoping that you're hitting the enemies. The motorcycle stuff is pretty bad. And then the like when you fight in the Megazord, that's like the worst part because it's like first person and then you have to like dodge left and right, but it's not very responsive. And then you have to punch the enemy to charge up the power sword. And if you miss a punch or you get hit one too many times, your charge goes down all the way. It's just, it was not very good, which was really disappointing because
It's very unfortunate. I
That is
love that
unfortunate.
franchise.
I was hyped for that. See what I did there?
but the thing is my son like really loves it, so we have to keep playing it.
It was like you're playing an interactive cartoon, and you know what? I feel like that's kind of the magic I miss of like the old school days of gaming. It felt like you were playing cartoons back in the day, and that's kind of why I will always love sprite based gaming.
Yeah, they when you beat the game, you do unlock the Green Ranger, which is cool. Spoilers, I guess. I think they announced that, but which is fine, right? But he doesn't do anything different than the other Power Rangers, and like you don't use the Dragon Zord in like a Megazord type of way. Like the in the auto running Zord parts, like the Dragon Zord is just a reskin of the Tyrannosaurus Zord. So it's like I don't know. It was an okay first attempt because I know this was Digital Eclipse's first original game instead of like remastering old games, but like man,
Hey,
you didn't play that Ninja Turtles game. You couldn't have stolen some of the ideas from that. Anyways, that's all I've been playing.
Thanks for saving me money because I was gonna eventually buy it.
Yeah, I thought about. I wanted to pre-order that collector's edition, that $50 collector's edition, but I did not because that game sucks. I'm like beyond angry at how not good that game is. And maybe it's a platform thing too, though. Maybe the Switch version is just not a great version of the game, but I don't see why not. It's a 16-bit side-scrolling beat 'em up. It should be fine. So, all right, LeRon.
Monster Hunter.
Great, moving on.
I just no. We can do that. I just made it into my 40th hour of the game and stuff like that. Yeah, as I announced last week, I did actually roll credits, so technically I beat that game. But yeah, I am now at the I'm now what's considered the end game portion of it because like I'm at the end of the high rank like actual like tier of stuff. So now at this point, I'm just like waiting for more event quests to happen, which by the way, like there was an event quest that ended, I think it ended last night, where you had to fight a Yon Kutku, and you had to get 2 tickets to get like a special helmet that looked like one of the endemic life, it looks like one of the rabbit with his ears down, basically, and that can be your helmet and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're just waiting. I'm just waiting for the next round of event quests and real soon. And title updates coming out next month. With the new monster. Well, not a new monster, but a new monster is in the roster.
Return monster. Yep.
Yeah, returning monster. Yeah.
Is there a so LeRon as a wily veteran of the of the Monster Hunter world, as you would say.
Mm-hmm.
If someone is just getting into Monster Hunter, what are your tips for a new hunter out there?
Okay, the first thing I would say do is figure out what type of fighter you're going to be. And I don't just mean like your weapon type, I mean, what type of fighter are you going to be? Are you going to be like, the Leroy Jenkins, or are you going to be a little more reserved, like stuff like that? Because you gotta remember, when Monster Hunter was originally built, it was built on this archetype of being an action RPG game. So like it still has those elements in there, like 20 years later and stuff like that. And like there's a play style that, if you have a certain play style, like if you like being able to tank, but also being a little defensive and stuff like that, like they're like, figure it out fast, because there'll be a weapon for you, as well as like how your armor kits out and stuff like that. It sounds super complicated, but the moment you figure out, like, do you want to move fast and, like make quick strikes like a ninja, or do you want to like just go in there and just bash everything in the face, or do you or do you want to like be a bard class, or, like zipping back and forth around the screen, shooting everything like a ranger and stuff like that? That's the one thing. Like figure out how you want to play it. And then the fun will actually follow you from that point on.
The fun will follow, he says.
Yeah. Like with all the quality of life changes that have been made in Monster Hunter, in the past 20 years and stuff like that, there's literally anyone that's saying like this game is not fun, they just don't know how to play video games. I'm be serious, because with the way Monster Hunter Wilds is now, like anybody can jump in and play this game now. I mean, like that's anybody can jump in and play this game. Everybody can find their niche and stuff like that. It's still Monster Hunter. Like, one of the main gripes I've heard about people that, I feel like, are just way too new to it and don't understand the game is like, why don't the monsters have like health bars and stuff like that? If you want health bars and stuff, because monsters have never had health bars. Well, they've never had visual health bars. Like the game keeps track of how much HP the monster has and stuff like that, but it's never been visual on the screen. If you want that stuff, play Dragon's Dogma or Elden Ring.
And that's that.
Yeah.
To go off, there is so many different play styles that you can do with Monster Hunter. It's it's just simple to take some time, test out some weapons, see which ones you like. Like they give very, very good tutorials and teaching you how to use your weapons, and just kind of go at it. Like this one is definitely the most simplest of the Monster Hunter games. And if you're having trouble, you have something called the SOS flare that will either send out an SOS to fellow Monster Hunters online, or if you're not online, it actually brings in bots.
Yeah,
jump
and the bots are very capable. As a matter of fact, the bots are not going to be the reason why you lose a match.
No, the bots will survive very well on their own.
Yeah.
Well, keeping you alive too. Usually, one of them's a support.
Yeah, one of them's a support. Yeah, his name is Rosso.
Rosso?
Yep.
I think mine was
SSO.
I thought mine was like began with an E, or an A, like an Elaine or something.
Oh, Alessa, or I think her name is Alessa.
Oh, maybe that's it. I thought that was my support, but
yeah, but all I know is Olivia's the MVP though, with that hammer.
Mm-hmm. Does your support character change based on your class?
No. No, like the NPC characters, that help you out in the quest and stuff like that, they're always the same ones. And the game has a little bit of balance too, because like here's one thing about like the SOS flares, for example, there's something in the options where you can auto SOS, and so as soon as the match starts and as soon as you engage the monster, like the SOS flare will go up automatically. So it's one less thing you have to do. But the cool thing is you can also select, do you want randos, like real people to come in and join you, or do you want the NPCs, or do you want a mixture of both? And there are also going to be some times where, hey, you didn't just make a palico for nothing, like that guy. Sometimes it'll be just you and your cat doing it.
Calicos are insanely useful in this game too. So
Oh my god,
they make a great distraction.
the
The
tools
tools,
they
the
have.
distractions, the helpful like hints that they say.
Yeah,
They're good.
Nice.
yeah.
And then you got
Unfortunately,
two veterans like myself and LeRon. So
yeah. Unfortunately, Corey, I've already bought 2 copies of the game for people, so not including myself. So,
I mean, I'm not. Wasn't asking you to buy it for me.
I know you weren't, but
I was asking. I was just asking questions because I'm curious, LeRon.
I kind of wish well, no, I don't wish the beta was still open. I kind of wish they would just drop a full demo, for the people who are just like, they're just like on the fringes. It's like, I kind of want to play this,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they probably will. They probably will right before not title update 1, but maybe title update 2 when they get ready to drop the new set of monsters.
I don't know. I think I might get it at some point.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll play with you. Pat, wait. We've friended each other. We just haven't found each other online yet to play.
I know. I searched your code. I don't know how to find you again, but
yeah.
Could you remind me? Is this cross?
It's crossplay. It's crossplay, so you can play.
Can you imagine if we all just jumped in on a mission? That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty sweet. We can do that. You can create a private room and invite 4 friends.
Yep. Yep.
3 friends.
As a matter of fact, I tell Matt and Andre all the time, like, hey, if you guys know you're going to be on, because I made a squad for the Hunters for Hire, like podcasting group. I made a squad, and they've got a squad invite, and I'm like, if you guys know you're going to be on, just jump in there, and like, if I see you in there, I'm just going to jump right in that squad room, and we'll be right there.
Nice. I'm thinking about it right now.
All right. Well, I might. Yeah, you might be an honorary Hunters for Hire squatty. So don't think too long.
I like that you called me a squatty. makes you feel special.
I know. Feel so cute, right?
Oh, jeez. Stephanie, save me. What are you playing?
Trying to bang out a bunch of things. I was hoping to beat Gory Cuddly Carnage. I think I am at the final boss, but I say that with an inflection because I have had the rug pulled under me before whenever I think I'm hitting a final boss, but I had a really good stride with Gory. I finally retrained myself on the controls. I think that's what caused that really sluggish restart of playing it. And that I was like getting really pissed and like, oh, I hate this, like blah, blah, blah. But now that I actually remember and got used to the controls, I'm having a blast. My scores are much higher. I'm getting a lot better, combos and scores, and absolutely just soaking the screen with unicorn blood, and it's amazing.
Oh snap!
It's a lot of fun. Now that I remember how to play, it's a lot of fun, and I think it's something because I realized that I was haphazardly upgrading like random, like because you have to collect money to upgrade, various things. And I was arbitrarily putting it everywhere. So I might want to do like another run, collect all these things. But hopefully I'll have it all done by the time we record again next week. Nice. I'm still playing Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket. And then 2 other smaller games, again, just trying to bang out a bunch of titles in my backlog. And one's called Think of the Children. I thought that the cover art was very interesting, but it's not what it looked like when I bought it a long time ago on the Switch. It's a very pixelated, and I don't say that because I don't like pixelated games. I love pixel games, but this is like your basic bitch pixel games. And it's basically you trying to accomplish things, but also make sure your children don't die, which I thought was a hilarious premise, but it is not fun to play alone. I have a feeling this is a game that would be more fun if you were playing co-op, because it was just not fun at all. And the way they teach the controls, I just didn't understand. And one of my children died almost instantly because he ran into the road and I didn't get there in time.
Oof.
So I don't know. It's an okay game, but I was just like, I had enough. I don't need to see any more levels, which is unfortunate. And then Genital Jousting was great. I didn't finish it because my son was around and he kept asking me what I was playing and had to keep pausing it and hiding it. It's hilarious. It like gives me the heebie-jeebies because it has like very visceral sounds when you're moving. And like there are things that penetrate you and don't come out. Like the worms. I'm like, what? And I don't know. It's so ridiculous, but the same, like, obviously it's a game that doesn't take itself too seriously. Like, I love the narrator and her little prim and proper British accent. So it's a good time. I'm sure I'll wrap that up by next week as well. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm kind of having a little bit of gaming ADHD, which is why I'm trying to use that to just at least try a lot of these smaller backlog games, because I'm going to probably spend a lot of time when Death Stranding 2 comes out, even though I don't know what the trailer was trying to communicate to my brain, and then also Metal Gear Solid Delta, and I feel like those two are going to take up a lot of my time later in the year. Oh my gosh.
I love Hideo's sense of humor.
Mm-hmm. That was a very good trailer, especially when the Italian guy, took on the mantle, if you know what I mean. The mantle.
I wonder if people are going to latch onto it the way they did the first game. I'm interested to see how it does. I don't have any interest in playing it. I didn't play the first one, but Kojima's strange cat. He'll make something out. He'll make something weird out of everything. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting how people perceive it, because deep down it's probably still gonna be like Death Stranding. Like the whole premise of the game is probably still gonna be the Postal Man simulator.
Mm-hmm.
But they definitely showed a lot more action with this one. So
what if it's just like a totally different? Only like the first 10 minutes are that game, and then it's just like a totally different genre.
Wow. You know what? I would not put it past Kojima. Not gonna lie. He would do that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's switch genres here and talk about Suikoden 1 Remastered.
Ooh,
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Did those come out already?
Yep, they came out last week.
Jeez.
Yep, I bought it on the Switch. I don't know. I guess I really wanted this one as a physical copy, so that's why I went the Switch version. I haven't heard anything where the Switch version is like inferior. But yeah, it is definitely a PS1 era PlayStation game, like a PS1 game. Like I remember having such like the story being good. I just remember a lot of things about this game that when I'm going through it again, I'm like, huh, I really enjoyed this back then. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but it's definitely dated in terms of its combat, in terms of its world map. They're very small towns as well. But yeah, it's I will say though, it is enjoyable to replay this game. updated the character sprite, not the sprites of the characters, but like the character portraits are like kind of new art. Um, some other quality of life features are you can now like speed up battles, and I believe, because I don't remember the original having this, there's an easy and a hard mode now. So
I don't remember
there's
that. I don't remember that. But then
yeah.
again, I remember beating it and moving on.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would remember too. I remember enjoying Suikoden 2 more than Suikoden 1, but I figured I'd jump into the first one here to begin with. But yeah, it's a tale about you being a young man who grew up in a very affluent position in an affluent family in an empire, and then when you finally become a knight, you get to see, that your perfect golden empire might not exactly be perfect on the outside, and that leads to you picking up a banner and leading a liberation front to help those who are being oppressed by your former empire. You also um, you also kind of find a castle that you use as a beacon. This is one of the cool thing about the Suikoden games is that you have to recruit. The goal is to recruit 108 characters and able to get like the best endings and stuff. And every single game is 108 characters. But as you recruit more, your castle levels up, and it becomes a
I forgot
like
all
thriving
about that.
community. Yeah, and each Suikoden game kind of has a different, like a little different castle of its own. Like Suikoden 4 was actually a ship, um, but that was also a pirate theme game as well. Uh, but yeah, I would definitely say even though it's an older RPG, it does give you more better direction than what Dragon Quest 3 did. So you wouldn't feel as lost. Um, but like, I guess in my opinion, it's definitely worth trying out. But it's not exactly the one game that maybe you should run to. I feel bad for saying that because it is a good game, but I'd recommend this either for purists or people who really want to know what the Suikoden games are all about. To be perfectly honest,
That's fair.
Is the first game really long?
It's your typical JRPG fare. I think I remember beating it in a fairly decent amount of time. Maybe like 40 hours, I think.
Yeah, it'd be somewhere within, like, if you rush it, it could probably be within 20, 30, maybe if you go and you collect
If
all
you're
the
trying to be a
people. But
perfectionist, yeah. Because
yeah,
because my first playthrough of it, once I learned that there was a big payoff if you got all 108, and it's one of those things. It's one of those things where like you actually learn real fast. There's like a relationship system because like you can do something slightly different and you will completely miss a character. So once I'd figured that out, I actually like stopped my first playthrough and actually started
hmm
over at the beginning because
yeah,
it was also one of those games I was like I only want to do this once. So I want to see the big
hmm
ending like right off the bat.
yeah. That is something I do recommend with the Suikoden games. If you want to get a good ending, have a guide because there are highly missable characters.
Yeah,
You could step over one town and never be able to see another character again. So
Oh,
yep. But I am enjoying that. It is something I do plan on completing so that I can jump into Suikoden 2 because again that was one of my favorite PlayStation games back
uh,
one era.
do we know if this game has like a save carryover, like if you get rewarded for like having a save from the original?
Probably not.
Yeah, probably
Just
not.
because there really wasn't any, other than a few characters, there wasn't really any connection between
Yeah.
the two. Um, yeah.
All right, I'm done
Uh,
with I'm done asking questions.
not a problem. So if people who listen to my to the book club series knows that my uh, co-host Taylor is a really huge Genshin Impact fan, and so I decided to kind of test the waters again because I haven't played this game since 2020 when it first came out, and I probably played it for about a week. And so I just wanted to kind of like it. It's got like a whole new, like several new continents and stuff to explore, and it's a huge game all in its own right. And it's not even complete yet. So I decided to, go back, and I wanted to restart the game, but I found out that once you start the game and have an account, you can't exactly reset that account. So unless you have like a whole new email, or I've heard new email, but I also think because my account's tied to the PlayStation Network, I would almost have to have a whole new PlayStation Network to restart it. So I didn't opt to do that one and just accepted the fact that I was like missing 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours at the beginning that I didn't remember.
You can't
Um,
delete like your cache save and or
no,
anything.
like it would not allow me to. I don't know. I was not allowed to restart this in any way. Like it carried over my PlayStation 4 data, and I looked for a way to delete it. But maybe if you completely delete the cache, maybe. But I think it might be tied to your user your um I think it's tied to your account, and that's tied to their server.
Hmm.
So if I were to log into my account, even if I cleared my cache, I think they would still have that record, and that's what I'd be playing. But I'm not entirely certain with that. Um, but yeah, it's a very quality game. It's interesting playing it on the PS5 because this sure as hell does not feel like a mobile game, which is what it's designed to be. Like there's a lot of different systems involved, a lot of different currencies, of course, because it's a gotcha game. And because again, I started this game in 2020, I don't remember anything of how the gotcha system works or like what the currency is or if I can even pull things. So I'll have to eventually talk to Taylor about that. But I did manage to get through the first of the seven nations this week, the Nation of Wind, and it's a very interesting game. There's a lot of Zelda Breath of the Wild nuances into it, from the colorful world to the stamina meter when you climb mountains, to a cooking simulator. But then there's also a lot of gotcha elements, such as using items that you find and upgrading your equipment or your character levels. Um, just based on the random treasures that you find or things that you can purchase using your gotcha points. But again, I have not done the gotcha system, so I've been playing with the cast that I have, and it's been doable so far. I don't know if that's always going to be the case, but the way the game works is that you level up 20 levels of your adventure level, and the game then gets a little bit harder. And it does that, I think, in a couple more different increments. The game describes it in some of its tutorials, but yeah, I'm very impressed with this game. Like I can see the appeal of why so many people like Genshin. Like it's feels like meatful, like meat. It's meaty. Like it doesn't feel like fluff. It doesn't feel like I'm trying to get your money. Like it's a game that this developer has spent now 5 years continuing to add more and more content to. And like, if you want to put money into it, awesome. Like, I know people definitely have the characters that they want to get. And I think probably having more characters would definitely be helpful because each character has a various element that they're tied to. Um, so that, they're probably even like better use. I would have to try the gotcha system to be able to explain it better, I think. But overall, like it's enjoyable, and I'm planning on going through a little bit more, when I have some time to this game because this is definitely a game that needs time. I think to be able to experience all that the game has to offer, it's probably definitely near 100 hours by now.
Nice. Yeah, I've always heard that game is extremely playable without actually spending any money if you are kind of diligent in doing, certain tasks, and just you can kind of play that whole game for free essentially.
Yeah, well, able to progress through the story, you have to build up your adventure level, and to do that, it's just taking on different quests. You get commissions every day that you can do from the different nations. And then also just like even opening chests and exploring the world will get you adventure points. And there are a ton of chests just scattered through this game. Like, I think I saw an achievement just in my one area alone. There's like over 400 chests. And I've only found maybe, I think my stats said 96 of them.
Nice.
So, like, and that's just one of, I think, now 5 areas that the game has opened up.
Nice. Does it it doesn't like stop you from playing at any point, right? Like there's no like mobile stamina meter, because that's the thing that I kind of have run into with Fire Emblem Heroes. Not that I'm playing it as much anymore, but there's you get 99 stamina points, and every 5 minutes, like certain missions cost like 5, 10, 15 stamina points or whatever, but you regain 1 stamina point every 5 minutes. Or you can, either purchase stamina bottles or earn stamina bottles through doing, daily tasks or whatever.
I haven't found anything truly like that. I think I found something a little close called ley lines, which are offer like a little bit of a challenge, and you have like a currency that you can throw towards that. But I haven't found myself like overusing it. And like I said, there's plenty of other things to do. Like you can explore freely in this game without having to worry about like running into your like time limit thing. So
Nice.
yeah. And then finally, Power Wash Simulator came out with another DLC package, a Wallace and Gromit DLC package. And
Nice.
as cool as this one, being in the Wallace and Gromit world is, it doesn't exactly equate well to Power Wash Simulator, unfortunately. Like, it doesn't seem any different than any of the other Power Wash levels. Like, you would hope that went more with the claymation look, but I don't know how that would have worked. So really, you go there more to kind of see some of the old Wallace and Gromit like inventions and settings, and get a little bit of that old British humor going on. But it really feels more of just like more Power Wash Simulator that took place in the normal Power Wash universe, where houses and just nothing ain't like too unusual. But it's cool because your character though looks very different. Instead of being the Power Wash guy, you are your Wash Lad, which is a robot that was created by Wallace. You look kind of like a little tin can with like arms and legs, and you have a little washer gun. So it's not the best of the DLC. It's still charming. But like in my opinion, the Shrek one was still like one of the top notch ones. The Tomb Raider and Final Fantasy and Alice. I'd probably put this one down with Back to the Future. With being as exciting, and Back to the Future was probably my least favorite.
I heard
it's still enjoyable.
I did hear that the Warhammer one was really difficult too.
The Warhammer one had some huge sets, like big ass ships and parts that moved, which made it harder to wash. So as interesting as that one was definitely not my favorite. I like more of the fantasy whimsical worlds, in my opinion. Those were fun.
That's fair. Well, I think we did it.
Yeah.
Another big old meaty episode in the bag. I want to thank everybody out there for watching and or listening to this episode of the Boss Rush Podcast. You can catch us every week on your podcast service of choice. Subscribe and leave a review and leave us a 5-star rating. That would really help. If you're watching on YouTube, remember to like the video and subscribe and leave a comment and share with your friends. You can get this show also on our free Patreon tier. So you can get all of our shows in one feed if you're into that. So you can go to patreon.com/Boss Rush Network, or you can get extras and early access perks for as little as $1. And Stephanie, LeRon, Pat, thank you for your time tonight, as always, again.
Always a good time.
I feel like it's been a while since I've seen any of you, even though it's only been a few days or a week at this point. So, Stephanie, did you have something to show? Did you have something?
It's all right. It can be for next time. We're already kind of running long. No worries.
Okay. Well then, everybody out there, thank you so much for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.